Let's make some sourdough bread. Okay, the day before you make your sourdough bread, you need to make some levain with your starter and let it sit overnight and rise. So this is not a one-day thing, it'll take you a few days. So I do have a kitchen scale here, and I'm going to put my jar on there, set it to 0. And then from my sourdough starter, I am going to put in 25 grams of my sourdough starter. And then 100 grams of lukewarm water. And 100 grams of high quality all-purpose flour. The levain is all mixed up, and this is going to make 2 loaves of sourdough bread. I'm just going to gently cover that and let it sit overnight, and then we will resume with making the sourdough bread tomorrow. We are ready to mix up the sourdough bread. So the levain that I made yesterday, I am going to put 160 grams into my bowl. And then 578 grams of lukewarm water. And then before I add anything else, I'm just going to take my sourdough whisker here, and I'm going to mix the levain and the water together real good until it's a milky substance. Let me make sure you can see that. Mix that up real good. Now I'm going to add 859 grams of high quality all-purpose flour, and then 20 grams of salt. All right, now I'm going to just whisk the rest of this together really well. Make sure I get all of the clumps out. If you don't have one of these little tools, you should get one. There's a lot of fun kits on Amazon and on the TikTok shop that will assist you with sourdough bread baking. All right, I have mixed this up really well with my sourdough whisk, and I did it for about 5 minutes just to make sure it was really well blended. And now what I'm going to do is cover it up, and I'm going to let it rest for about 30 minutes, and then I'll come back and do the first stretch and fold. It's been 30 minutes, and now I'm ready for the first stretch and fold, and I've wet my hands a little bit so the dough doesn't stick to my hands. So what I'm going to do is pull it up, stretch it up, and fold it over. Turn my bowl a quarter turn, pull it up, stretch, fold, quarter turn, pull it up, stretch it and fold one more time, and pull it up, stretch it, and fold. I'm going to do the stretch and folds 4 times. So that was the first one, and I'm going to cover it back up, let it sit for another 30 minutes, and then I'll be back to do the second stretch and fold. Now it's time for the second stretch and fold, and I have wet my fingers again. So just like the first time, we're going to take it, pull it up, stretch it, fold it over, quarter turn with the bowl, grab the side, pull it up, stretch it, fold it over, quarter turn, take it, stretch it up, fold it over one more time, and take it and pull it up, stretch it, and fold it over. And I've noticed that my dough, each time I do a stretch and pull, it's not as sticky, and it's getting a little firmer. Now I'm going to cover it again and let it rest for another 30 minutes, and then I will be back to do the third stretch and fold. Back for another stretch and fold. All right, ooh, and it's firming up good, so stretch it up and fold. Quarter turn of the bowl. And stretch it up, fold it over, turn, and it's a lot of work, but you know what? It's really, really worth it. So, okay, I'm gonna cover it again, let it sit for 30 minutes, and come back for the last stretch and fold. Okay, time for the last stretch and pull. As you can see, this has risen quite a bit. So, one more stretch and pull. Like I said, this recipe here makes 2 loaves. Lots of air bubbles, and you want those in there. So it makes those layers when you bake it. Okay, I've done 4, but I'm gonna do one more for the road. So stretch, pull, and tuck. Okay, I've done 4 stretch and pulls. I'm going to cover it again. I'm going to let this sit and rise for about 3 hours. And then when I come back, I will put it in a couple of bannetons and put it in the fridge. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back, and the dough has been sitting for about 5 hours. Look how much that has risen. It's so poofy and light, fluffy. So I'm going to take all this dough and dump it onto a lightly floured surface. And what I'm going to do, since this makes 2 loaves, I'm going to split it in half and work on each loaf at a time. So I'm just going to set this one aside. And this first one, what I'm going to do is shape it into a large rectangle. And then I'm folding it over like this, and then I am rolling it up and shaping it into a ball. So I guess you push and pull and tuck. Okay, so I have one of my banneton baskets here, and it's floured. And so what I'm going to do, now that this is in a nice formed ball, I'm going to place it in there upside down, and then I'm going to just stitch my dough just like this. And I'm going to get the other loaf done real quick, and then cover these and put these in the refrigerator for a while. Okay, as you know, I've been doing this sourdough bread in segments, and this has been in the refrigerator overnight for over 24 hours. So what I'm going to do now, I've got this really cool baking mat that I got for sourdough bread. I actually got it through Amazon, and I'll show you here. I'm going to flip my sourdough upside down on top of it. Get that on there nice and even. Now I'm going to score the bread. And I have a sourdough lamb here. You can get these on Amazon too. So, put that on there a little bit better. I'm gonna do a little wheat design. So, make sure you can see that. And this is where you can get really creative and have some fun with it. I've stayed pretty basic with mine, mostly till I get comfortable with the process of making the sourdough bread. I'm going to do a couple of them. There's lots of videos on YouTube that shows you different scoring designs you can do that are pretty neat. And then when I bought this lamb, there was a little paper in there that showed some different designs as well. Okay, so now I'm going to do a deep score from side to side on the side. Make sure that's nice and deep. And I forgot to put my flour on. I forget this all the time. It just helps the design stand out. You're supposed to do it the other way around. I'm still learning. This has probably been one of the trickiest baking things I have ever learned in my life. So you're supposed to flour it first and then do your scoring. I'm going to rescore just a little bit. The flour just makes it kind of pretty. And this is just regular high quality all-purpose flour that I'm using. Okay, I have my Dutch oven that I have been heating in the oven for about 45 minutes. Just gonna slip this inside. And I started the oven at 450 and I put the Dutch oven inside. And I let it heat up at the oven, and then once it was set at 450, I let it go for about another half hour or so. So now I'm gonna put this in the oven at 450 for 30 minutes, and then I'll be back. Okay, this has been in the oven baking for 30 minutes at 450, so I've taken it out, and what I'm gonna do now is remove the lid. Oh, that's really pretty. This is what it looks like now, but I'm going to pop it back in the oven. I've lowered my oven temperature to 425, and I'm going to bake it for another 15 minutes. It is all done. So I've taken it out of the oven, and what I'm going to do now is just remove my little bread sleeve here. And make sure you see that. And I'm going to let that cool here on the stove top for about an hour or two. I do have some errands to run, so when I come back it should be cool enough to cut open. So we're about done. Okay, I'm back from running errands and my bread has cooled down considerably, so it's the moment of truth. I'm gonna cut this. I got this on the TikTok shop. I get a lot of things there, and this is pretty dang awesome. It works really, really well. So, okay. Ooh. Look at that. Yum, yum. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on sourdough bread. I hope it was fun and informative for you. It's a little bit difficult. It's probably the most difficult thing I've ever baked in my life. It takes time, takes patience, takes knowledge. A lot of things you have to learn about it. So stick with it. If you have any other questions, you can just private message me, and we can go through some things if you need to. And but I'm gonna keep making it. And anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a lovely day, and I love you all. Mwah! I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.